Have you ever noticed how some people only realize the value of water after the well runs dry? There's a powerful truth buried in that metaphor. Absence creates longing, but only if you let it. What if I told you that instead of chasing them, begging for their attention, or breaking yourself into pieces, trying to fit into their world, you could become the one thing they can't live without? The one thought that lingers in their mind at midnight, the one regret they carry in their heart. This isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your power and igniting a desire so profound they'll come back, apologizing, with no choice but to face what they lost. But first, you must understand this. You're not broken. You're rising. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Relationships can bruise us, leave us questioning our worth, but they don't define us. They don't define you. You do. Let's start by confronting the most common mistake people make in relationships: the chase. When you chase, you surrender your power. You diminish your worth by placing it in their hands. Enough is enough. Take your power back. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Every scar, every tear, every moment of heartbreak is proof you've survived. You're not a victim. You're the hero of this story. The power of absence and transformation. Think about the last time you couldn't find your favorite book or piece of jewelry. At first, you might shrug it off, but as time passes, its absence begins to nag at you. Why? Because its value grows in its absence. It becomes a symbol of something irreplaceable. The same happens in relationships. Your silence will echo louder than their words. This isn't about playing games. It's about transforming yourself into someone they can't ignore. You don't beg for attention. You command it by becoming the best version of yourself, a version so radiant they're forced to stop and take notice. Imagine yourself as a phoenix rising from the ashes of heartbreak. Your scars are proof you survived, but now it's time to thrive. They underestimated you. Now, prove them wrong. The irresistible gravity of confidence. In the words of Friedrich Nietzsche, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Your why in this moment is your own growth, your own happiness, your own fulfillment. That is the irresistible force that will draw them back. Not desperation, not pleading, but the undeniable pull of someone who knows their worth. Confidence isn't loud or boastful. It's quiet, steadfast, and magnetic. Picture this. You're the lighthouse standing tall amidst a raging storm. You don't chase the ships, you guide them. Even if they wander, they'll always know where to find the light. But to shine that brightly, you must first cultivate your own inner glow. Feel the pain, but don't live there. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. The psychology of desire is a curious thing. It isn't sparked by what's readily available. It's ignited by mystery, by intrigue, by absence. Søren Kierkegaard once wrote, "The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you can never have. Imagine becoming that future they can't have. At least, not until they've earned it." Your transformation creates an unspoken question in their mind. Did I make the right choice? That question, once planted, grows into longing, and longing becomes regret. You're not a backup plan, a second choice, or a fleeting thought. You are the irreplaceable rhythm of their life, the melody they can't replicate, no matter how hard they try. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. Reclaiming your power. Let me remind you, your story isn't over, it's just beginning. They walked away, but you're still standing. They thought you'd crumble, but instead, you're rising stronger than ever. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Use this moment to rebuild yourself in ways that leave them speechless. As Maya Angelou said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. Your best revenge isn't anger, it's success. Success so undeniable that it leaves no room for doubt. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. Let the hurt fuel your growth. Let their absence become the soil in which your greatness grows. Think of a caterpillar retreating into its cocoon. To the outside world, it appears dormant, even lifeless. But inside, a metamorphosis is taking place. When it finally emerges, it's no longer confined by the earth. It soars. You are in that cocoon now, but the transformation is already underway. Every setback was a setup for this moment. When they see you again, they won't recognize the person they left. Your silence, your growth, your unshakable confidence will speak louder than any words ever could. And when they come back, and they will, it won't be because you begged or pleaded. It will be because you became someone they can't ignore. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Your next move. So, what's next? Focus on yourself. Build a life so full of joy, purpose and passion that their absence feels irrelevant. When you become the fire they can't escape, the gravity they can't resist, their only choice will be to return. Not because you need them, but because they need you. You don't need them to be whole. The love you seek starts with you. Turn your pain into your power. This is your moment to rise, to reclaim everything you thought you lost. Stop waiting. The time is now. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your future is watching. What will it see? Let me leave you with this truth. You're stronger than the excuses holding you back. They left? Good. Now build without limits. This is your moment. Let's make it unforgettable. They'll come back apologizing, but by then you'll be too busy thriving to notice. Affirmations have the power to reprogram your mind, align your actions with your intentions, and ignite the unstoppable force within you. Believe in your words and watch as they transform your reality. Here is your affirmation. I am the irresistible force they can't ignore. Write this affirmation in the comments below to claim your power and set your transformation into motion. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're pouring our hearts into creating content that inspires, uplifts, and empowers you to become your best self. Thank you for your support. It means everything to us. Number 1. The gravity of what they lost. Have you ever wondered why the weight of absence feels so heavy? It's because it carries the undeniable gravity of what's been lost. People often fail to realize the value of something until it's gone. The human heart is wired this way. It doesn't grasp the enormity of its treasures until they're no longer in reach. Relationships work the same way. When someone walks away, they may think they're escaping you, but they can't outrun the pull of what you brought into their life. The gravity of what they lost becomes a silent force, tugging at their heart, drawing them back to what they once took for granted. In every relationship, there are moments, smiles, and connections that are uniquely yours. They might have convinced themselves that they could find these elsewhere, but life has a way of proving otherwise. Like a planet pulled into the orbit of a larger celestial body, your presence created stability, warmth, and meaning in their world. The moment you step away and reclaim your power, the balance shifts. They feel it in ways they don't yet understand. Your absence becomes the force that disrupts their peace, making them realize what they've lost. You're not broken. You're rising. This isn't a time to crumble under the weight of rejection or despair. This is your moment to reclaim everything. They don't define you. You do. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Every tear you've shed, every piece of your heart they left behind, has made you stronger, wiser, and more magnetic. Your scars are proof you survived, and now you're ready to thrive. Think about the moon and the tides. The moon doesn't chase the ocean to prove its worth. Its pull is effortless, undeniable, and constant. That's the kind of presence you must embody. You don't need to explain your value or convince anyone to stay. You are the gravity they'll feel in every quiet moment, in every hollow interaction that reminds them of what they had with you. Let's take a moment to reflect on this truth. Absence doesn't just create distance, it magnifies meaning. When they no longer have you as their anchor, they begin to drift. The conversations, the laughter, the way you made them feel seen and understood, those memories become heavier with time. Like a favorite song they can't stop hearing in their head, you linger. Your silence speaks louder than words. Your growth becomes a testament to what they underestimated. They walked away, but you're still standing. They thought they'd be fine without you, but now they're realizing just how much of their world was built around your light. Consider this. When you let go of a balloon, it seems to drift effortlessly into the sky. But the higher it goes, the more it feels the pressure of the atmosphere. Eventually, it pops. The same happens when someone tries to escape the gravity of a meaningful connection. They may think they're free, but as they float further from your presence, the reality sets in. They've lost something irreplaceable. And just like gravity, your pull remains constant, waiting for them to feel its full force and come back. Enough is enough. Take your power back. You don't need them to be whole. Your worth doesn't diminish because they couldn't see it. This is your time to rise, to build, and to thrive. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Stop waiting for someone else to complete you. The love you seek starts with you. Every setback you faced was a setup for this moment, a moment to turn your pain into power, your hurt into growth, and your loss into the ultimate transformation. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. Let the hurt fuel your growth. Let their absence be the soil where your resilience grows. And when they feel the gravity of what they lost, and they will, you'll already be soaring to heights they can only dream of reaching. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. You're not a victim. You're the hero of this story. They may have left, but you're still here, stronger than the excuses holding you back, braver than the fears trying to chain you. Pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Let them regret walking away. Let them see what they've lost. But don't do it for them. Do it for you. Your best revenge? Success they can't ignore. Turn your pain into your power. Why survive when you were born to thrive? You're not waiting for their apology. You're rising so high, they'll be chasing yours. Take this affirmation with you. I am the force they can't escape. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and affirm your worth. Let this be the moment you declare your transformation to the world. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of your strength and the gravity you hold, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons, and your support fuels our mission to empower you. Together, let's create a life where your presence is unforgettable. Number 2. The magnetic power of unshaken confidence. Imagine walking into a room and every head turns, not because of the clothes you wear or the words you speak, but because of the energy you carry. That quiet, unshaken confidence that exudes from your every movement, every glance, every silence. This isn't about arrogance or pretending to be someone you're not. This is about reclaiming the magnetic power that lies within you, the power they couldn't see when they walked away, but one they'll be drawn back to like moths to a flame. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Confidence, true confidence, isn't about how loud you are or how hard you try to prove yourself. It's about knowing, deep down, that you are enough. They may have left thinking the grass was greener somewhere else, but the truth is, the brightest light doesn't chase. It stands still, drawing everything else toward it. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. In relationships, this means you don't need to beg for love or chase validation. You become so undeniably magnetic in your growth, your peace, your strength, that they can't help but feel your pull. Think of the sun. It doesn't chase the planets. They orbit it naturally. Your confidence works the same way. When you stop running after someone, when you stop trying to prove your worth, you shift the dynamic. Suddenly, the person who left you feels the void of your absence. They feel the undeniable pull of the confidence you've cultivated in their absence. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. This magnetic power doesn't come from superficial acts. It comes from within. It comes from looking in the mirror and seeing your greatest ally staring back at you. Confidence is born when you acknowledge the pain, but choose not to live there. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Instead, let it fuel your growth. Your scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof you survived, and you're stronger than ever. You're not broken. You're rising. The strongest fires create the brightest flames, and this is your time to burn brightly. Imagine a river carving its path through stone. At first, it seems impossible, a soft stream shaping something as solid as rock. But over time, the river's persistence and quiet strength create a masterpiece. Your confidence is like that river. It doesn't need to announce itself. Its power is felt, undeniable and transformative. When they see the calm, steady power you've cultivated, they'll realize they walked away from something unshakable, and that realization will hit them harder than any words ever could. In relationships, people often take for granted what is readily available. They assume they can replace you, that someone else will offer the same connection, the same energy. But here's the truth: they can't. What you bring to a relationship isn't just companionship, it's depth, strength, and uniqueness. When you focus on your growth, when you let your confidence shine, you remind them of what they've lost. Your silence will echo louder than their words. You don't need to prove anything to them. You don't need to convince them to come back. Your transformation, your confidence, your magnetic energy will do the work for you. The love you seek starts with you. When you embrace who you are, unapologetically and completely, you become a force of nature, one they can't help but notice. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. Now imagine this. They're out there, trying to find someone who makes them feel the way you did. But every smile, every laugh, every fleeting connection pales in comparison. Why? Because you've become the standard. You've become the gravitational force they can't escape. Your confidence, your growth, your silence, it's all drawing them back, one thought at a time. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Take your pain, your heartbreak, and turn it into power. The love you thought you lost? It starts with loving yourself so fiercely that their absence doesn't define you anymore. They walked away, but you're still standing. You don't need them to be whole. They'll come back not because you chased them, but because your confidence made it impossible for them to stay away. Number 3. The silence that speaks volumes. Have you ever been in a relationship where it felt like the harder you tried, the more distant they became? Where every text you sent, every word you spoke, seemed to push them further away instead of pulling them closer? Here's a truth that's hard to face but essential to understand. Chasing someone only makes them run faster. But when you stop, when you let silence replace the noise of your pursuit, something incredible happens. They begin to feel your absence, and that silence. It becomes deafening. It becomes the loudest thing they've ever heard. Your silence will echo louder than their words ever could. Silence in relationships isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of reflection. When you step back and stop trying to fill the void, you create a space where they can finally hear themselves think. They start to realize what they've taken for granted. They don't define you, you do. Every moment of your silence is a reminder of what they lost, a nudge to their soul that whispers, "Look at what you left behind." Picture this. You're a song they can't get out of their head. While you were together, they might not have appreciated the melody, but now that it's gone, they can't stop humming it. Your silence becomes that song. It's a haunting tune that reminds them of your laughter, your touch, the way you made them feel understood in a world that often feels so lonely. Enough is enough. Take your power back. You're no longer the person chasing love. You've become the song they're desperate to hear again. As Marcus Aurelius once said, silence is a form of strength. In relationships, silence isn't weakness, it's power. It's the quiet confidence of knowing your worth, the unshakable belief that you don't have to shout to be heard. When you stop chasing, you shift the energy. You stop being the one seeking validation and become the one who is sought after. They walked away, but you're still standing. And now your silence is a beacon, a light they can't help but move toward. Imagine you're a flame burning bright. When you're constantly chasing someone, it's like trying to keep a fire going by blowing on it. It only scatters the sparks. But when you pull back and let the flame burn steady, it becomes irresistible. People are drawn to the warmth, the light, the steady glow of your confidence. You're not broken, you're rising. In relationships, silence is often misunderstood. It's not about cutting someone off out of spite or anger. It's about creating space for growth, for reflection, for understanding. When you stop trying to fill every moment with words, you allow them to feel the full weight of your absence. And that weight? It's heavier than you think. They'll replay your moments together, revisit the laughter, and realize how empty life feels without you. Let the hurt fuel your growth. Think about the ocean. When you're standing on the shore, you might be mesmerized by the waves crashing loudly against the rocks. But the true power of the ocean isn't in the noise, it's in the depth. It's in the vast, endless quiet beneath the surface. That's what your silence becomes, an ocean of meaning that they can't escape, no matter how far they drift. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. Your silence is not a punishment, it's a declaration. It says, I know my worth. I won't beg for love. If you want me, you'll have to rise to meet me. And in that space, in that silence, they'll start to feel the gravity of what they've lost. They'll feel the pull of your absence and the ache of your unspoken words. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. Your silence isn't just a pause, it's a revolution of the self. So stop chasing, stop explaining, stop filling the silence with words that fall on deaf ears. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Let your silence become the loudest message you've ever sent. Let it remind them of what they walked away from and draw them back, not because you asked, but because your silence left them no choice. Here's your affirmation: my silence is my strength. Write it in the comments below as a reminder of your power. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons that inspire and empower you. Your growth is our mission, and your support means the world to us. Let's rise together. Number 4. The irreplaceable blueprint of your connection. Have you ever wondered why some relationships linger in the heart, no matter how much time passes? It's not because they were perfect, but because they were unique. Every connection carries its own irreplaceable blueprint, a pattern of shared memories, emotions, and moments that no one else can replicate. When someone walks away from you, they think they're leaving the connection behind. But the truth is, they'll soon realize that no one else fits that blueprint, that what you shared wasn't just a fleeting connection. It was a foundation, a masterpiece they won't find again. This is the beauty of the irreplaceable blueprint. It's not just about who you were in the relationship. It's about the way your presence shaped their world. They don't define you, you do. Your love, your support, your authenticity, those are not qualities that come around often. They may search for replacements, trying to recreate the bond they once had with you, but they'll find nothing but pale imitations. Why? Because the connection you built together was one of a kind. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. Imagine building a house, every brick laid, every beam placed, every corner designed. It's all done with care and intention. Now, picture that same house being left behind by someone who doesn't see its value. They may walk away, but the blueprint remains, standing as a testament to the time and love you poured into it. No matter how far they go, they'll remember the shelter it provided, the warmth they felt within its walls. That's what your relationship was. More than a house, it was a home, and no other structure will feel quite the same. In the words of Rainer Maria Rilke, once the realization is accepted that even between the closest human beings, infinite distances exist, a wonderful living side by side can grow. They'll come to see that the distance they created only magnifies what they lost. They may find someone who laughs like you, smiles like you, or even shares some of your qualities, but the depth of what you shared, that's irreplaceable. You're not broken, you're rising. Think of a fingerprint. No two are alike, and no matter how hard someone tries to forge it, the original will always stand apart. Your relationship is that fingerprint, a mark they carry with them, even if they don't realize it at first. Every laugh, every touch, every late-night conversation etched itself into their memory like a signature. They may try to fill the void with new experiences, but nothing will ever match the unique rhythm of what you shared. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Turn your pain into your power. This is your moment to reclaim everything. You don't need to beg for their attention or prove your worth. Instead, focus on building yourself into the strongest version of who you are. When they look back, they won't just see the person they left. They'll see someone who didn't crumble, someone who took the hurt and turned it into fuel for growth. Your scars are proof you survived. And not just survived, you thrived. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. Relationships are not about completing each other. They're about sharing a journey, and your journey is far from over. They may have chosen to step off your path, but you're still walking forward, stronger and wiser than before. As Maya Angelou said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." You are not reduced by their absence. You are elevated by your own resilience. When they come back, and they will, it won't be because you chased them. It will be because your transformation made them realize that what you had was more than a relationship. It was a bond forged in authenticity and depth. Your silence will echo louder than their words. Let the blueprint of your connection remain as a reminder, not just to them, but to yourself, of how powerful your love and presence truly are. So, look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Every step you take away from heartbreak is a step closer to the life you deserve. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Stop waiting for them to see your worth. The love you seek starts with you. Affirm this truth. I am the connection they'll never replace. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and remind yourself of your irreplaceable worth. If this message resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're working tirelessly to create these life-changing lessons to inspire and empower you. Your support means everything to us. Let's keep moving forward, together. Number 5. The phoenix effect of your growth. Have you ever seen a forest consumed by fire? At first glance, it seems like utter devastation, a loss too great to recover from. But over time, something extraordinary happens. New life emerges, richer and more vibrant than ever before. The fire wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Relationships can feel the same way. When they walk away, leaving your heart in ashes, it's tempting to believe the pain has consumed you entirely. But here's the truth. You're not broken. You're rising. This is your moment to step out of the flames stronger, more radiant, and more magnetic than ever before. They don't define you. You do. When someone underestimates your worth, they expect you to stay stuck, dwelling in the hurt they left behind. But life doesn't wait, and neither should you. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. Your heartbreak is not a dead end. It's the fuel for your transformation. Like a phoenix, you have the power to rise from the ashes of rejection, more powerful and irresistible than they ever imagined. Every tear you shed, every moment you doubted yourself, was watering the seeds of your comeback. Now is the time to ignite those flames, to build a version of yourself so stunningly vibrant that it leaves them breathless with regret. Imagine a sculptor standing before a block of marble. To the untrained eye, it's just a slab of stone, ordinary, unremarkable. But to the sculptor, it holds infinite potential. With every strike of the chisel, the excess is chipped away, and something extraordinary begins to take shape. That's you right now. Heartbreak is the chisel, and while it may hurt, it's shaping you into someone remarkable. Feel the pain, but don't live there. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. The person who walked away doesn't get the final say on your story. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Think about this. When you rise from your heartbreak, when you transform yourself, you create a gravitational pull that's impossible to ignore. They might have thought they could leave and forget, but your transformation will haunt them. Your silence will echo louder than their words. While they're busy searching for someone else to fill the void, your growth will cast a shadow over their choices. Every accomplishment you achieve, every ounce of confidence you rebuild, will be a reminder of what they lost. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." This isn't just a quote, it's your reality. They left, but you're still standing. You don't need them to be whole. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Your scars are proof you survived. They thought the fire would destroy you, but all it did was make you shine brighter. You are not a victim. You're the hero of this story. Think of a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. For days, it's hidden away, quiet, seemingly still. But inside, a transformation is taking place. When it finally emerges, it's no longer confined by the limits of its past. It soars, unrecognizable to the world that once saw it as nothing more than a caterpillar. That's you. Your transformation is your wings, and when they see you again, they won't recognize the person you've become. They walked away, but you're still standing. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. The love you seek starts with you. Use the pain they caused as your power, the rejection as your rebirth. Every setback was a setup for this moment. This is not the time to shrink back. This is the time to rise. The person they thought they could leave behind no longer exists. What stands in their place is someone who knows their worth, someone who doesn't need validation from anyone else, someone they'll never be able to forget. Let the hurt fuel your growth. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Turn your pain into your power. They'll come back apologizing, not because you begged them to, but because your transformation has made you irresistible. But by the time they return, you'll be the one deciding whether they're worthy of the new you. Affirm this truth. I am rising from the ashes, stronger than ever. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and make your transformation real. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons to empower your heart, mind, and soul. Your support helps us continue to inspire and uplift, one transformation at a time. This is your moment. Rise and let the world see your flames. Number 6. The shadow of their own choices. Have you ever watched someone try to run from their own shadow? No matter how far they go, how fast they run, it clings to them, a silent reminder of what they can never escape. In relationships, this shadow becomes the memory of what they chose to leave behind, you. It's not just a recollection of your presence, but a growing realization of the void your absence has created. They thought walking away would set them free, but instead they're haunted by the undeniable truth. They let go of something irreplaceable. They walked away, but you're still standing. Life has a way of magnifying choices over time. At first, their decision might have felt liberating or even empowering, but as the days stretch into weeks, a subtle discontent begins to creep in. Like a ghost in the corners of their mind, the memory of your laughter, your touch, your unique connection lingers. They'll compare every interaction, every fleeting connection, to the depth they once felt with you, and nothing will quite measure up. Your silence will echo louder than their words. Think of it like walking away from a painting. Up close, it might seem like just a mess of colors, but as they step further away, the full masterpiece comes into focus. That's what your absence does. It allows them to see the entirety of what they lost. And with every new encounter, they'll find themselves trying to replicate what you gave so effortlessly. The comfort, the understanding, the irreplaceable rhythm of your bond. But you're not broken. You're rising. Their choices may have hurt you, but they didn't define you. You did. Rumi once said, "Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form." In this case, what they lost is transforming. You are transforming. Each day as you reclaim your power, you're not just moving on, you're evolving. You're becoming the version of yourself they always underestimated. They thought they knew you, but now they're left grappling with the shadow of someone who's grown beyond their reach. Every setback was a setup for this moment. Picture this. They're at a party or scrolling through their phone, surrounded by people, but feeling an emptiness they can't place. That's the shadow of their choices creeping in. The realization that no matter how far they run, no one else feels like home. They don't define you, you do. And now, as they wrestle with their own decisions, you're too busy thriving to even notice. You don't need them to be whole, and that's the paradox. They'll only realize your value when you no longer seek their validation. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Let it fuel your growth. Let it ignite your transformation. Your heart knows its worth, and the shadow of their regret will only grow as they watch you rise. Let them feel the weight of their choices. Let them see what they lost. This is your story, and it's just beginning. Number 7. The unyielding flame of your potential. Have you ever noticed how a fire starts with a single spark, but grows into an unstoppable blaze when fueled with purpose? Relationships are no different. When someone walks away, they might think the flame has gone out. But here's the truth. That ember of potential still burns inside you, waiting to ignite into something extraordinary. This is your moment to rise, to become the unyielding flame of your own potential, and to let that brilliance draw them back. Not because you begged, but because they can't resist the warmth of your transformation. They underestimated you. Now, prove them wrong. Their departure might have felt like a blow, but it was also a blessing in disguise. It's the moment when you decide to stop being defined by what you lost and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Every tear, every sleepless night, every aching moment has prepared you for this. You're not broken, you're rising. Imagine this. You are a lighthouse standing tall against the storm. The wind may howl and the waves may crash, but your light remains unwavering. It doesn't chase the ships. It doesn't plead to be noticed. It simply shines, guiding those lost at sea back to safety. That's what your potential does. It draws others to you without effort, simply because you're living in your truth, your power, and your purpose. The love you seek begins with the fire you stoke within yourself. Feel the pain, but don't live there. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. Think of a forest after a wildfire. The flames may have scorched the ground, but beneath the ashes, seeds lie dormant, ready to sprout into new life. That's where you are right now. The ending of your relationship wasn't the end of you. It was the fertile ground for a rebirth. Every setback was a setup for this moment. You don't need them to see your worth. You need to see it for yourself. Once you do, they'll have no choice but to notice. When you embrace your potential, you become more than a memory in their mind. You become a standard they measure everyone else against. They'll look at others and wonder why no one has the spark, the strength, or the magnetic energy you possess. Your future is watching. What will it see? Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. The strongest fires create the brightest flames, and you are on the verge of becoming a blaze they'll never forget. So, what's your next step? It's simple. Rise. Build yourself into a force so strong, so unyielding, that your presence becomes undeniable. Turn your pain into your power. Don't let their absence define you. Let it refine you. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Stop waiting. The time is now. Number 8. The Symphony of Self-Mastery. Have you ever wondered why the most beautiful symphonies captivate our souls? It's not just the melody or the instruments, it's the harmony, the way every note and pause blends into a masterpiece. Relationships are much the same. When they're in tune, they feel magical, but when discord arises, the silence can be deafening. Yet, here's the twist. What if the most powerful symphony isn't the one you played together, but the one you're composing now, alone? This is your moment to reclaim everything. They don't define you, you do. In relationships, we often focus on the duet, but the most magnetic people are those who have mastered their solo. When someone walks away, it feels like the music stops. But that's not true. The instruments are still there, waiting for you to take command. The first note of self-mastery begins when you decide to stop chasing, stop begging, and start becoming. As Friedrich Nietzsche once said, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. That chaos you feel right now, it's not your end. It's the spark of your masterpiece. Think of yourself as a conductor in an empty concert hall. At first, the silence is overwhelming, but as you pick up the baton, your life begins to play again. Every moment of growth is a note, every act of self-love is a crescendo, and every boundary you set becomes the rhythm of your newfound strength. They walked away, but you're still standing. You don't need them to be whole. Your self-mastery is the symphony they can't ignore, a melody that echoes long after they've left, haunting them with the question, did I make the right choice? Imagine a sculptor shaping a block of marble. At first glance, it's just a rough, shapeless stone, but with every strike of the chisel, a masterpiece emerges. That's your life right now. Their absence is not the end of the sculpture, it's the beginning. With every step you take to improve yourself, every new habit you build, and every goal you achieve, you're carving a version of yourself so extraordinary that they'll be left breathless. Your scars are proof you survived. Your silence will echo louder than their words. This isn't about playing games or seeking revenge. It's about owning your power. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. Let the hurt fuel your growth. When you master yourself, when you align your actions with your worth, you become unstoppable. They'll hear the music of your life from afar, and they'll realize they've been listening to hollow tunes ever since they left. The love you seek doesn't begin with them. It begins with you. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. So now, pick up your baton. Begin to compose your symphony of self-mastery. You're not broken, you're rising. Every setback was a setup for this moment. Stop waiting. The time is now.